캘리포니아의 한 주택가에서 걸려온 긴급 신고 전화. 신고자는
My name is Casey Porter.
딸의 학부모 모임에서 알게 된 티파니 셰리든의 친구 케이티. 어느 날 갑자기 그녀와의, 아니 가족 전체와의 연락이 끊겼고
But then Lauren came home and she said that Sam hadn't been to school in a few days. And I kept calling and I kept texting, but I never got a reply back. And I just knew in the back of my head that something is wrong.
경찰은 즉시 티파니의 집으로 출동했는데
Police department, anybody home?
그리고 그곳에서
Hello?
경악할 수밖에 없는 광경과 마주하게 됩니다.
Anybody home?
Mother of God. This was a crime scene.
What happened to them? I think about it every day. I have nightmares about it. Why them?
That was a bad day. When I saw that, I was floored. I looked at my partner and I said, "Oh my God, he's back."
시간을 거슬러 올라가 1993년부터 1995년 사이 샌 버나디노 카운티에서 발생한 3건의 살인사건. 그 사건들의 중심에는 어떤 의식적인 요소가 있었죠.
Okay, she was covered with a blue tarp. You could see it easily from the road. This is a service road. Not a lot of people come down it. It was just horrible. I mean, you never expect to see something like that.
On August 8th, 1993, the torso of 24-year-old Shifra Gutierrez is discovered in San Bernardino National Forest. She had been dismembered, the genitals mutilated, the uterus removed. The coroner gave a best guess estimate she'd been there 2 weeks, but it's difficult to tell.
첫 번째 피해자는 평범한 학생이었다가 성인이 되어 나쁜 길로 들어서게 된 시프라 구티에르즈.
There's an area off the 91 in the Casablanca neighborhood, and that's where Shifra was last seen. We do know she went up to a room at a motel called Dean's Corner that was frequented by sex workers, and there was a man with her, but the clerk couldn't remember what he looked like.
He could have killed her there. Could have been strangulation, for example. We'll probably never know. What we do know for sure is that she was somehow moved from that room without anybody noticing. Or somebody noticed and just didn't care. But we got our first lead. A name. All guests had to fill out a ledger, and the suspect had written down the name Albert Shiney. And the case went cold.
그로부터 9개월 뒤 1994년 장애를 가진 82세 노인 앰브로즈 크리스피가 요양시설에서 숨진 채 발견됩니다.
On the night of June 3rd, 1994, someone scaled the backside of his building and entered his unit through a sliding glass door that was apparently left unlocked. He was bludgeoned with an oxygen tank that was in his room and then stabbed more than 30 times with a box cutter. Yeah, it was brutal. No one else in the building heard so much as a peep from his room, so it must have happened fast, which is some comfort, I guess. One of his eyes was also removed.
그에겐 가족도 친구도 없었고 현장에서 채취된 지문마저 일치하는 기록이 존재하지 않는 상태. 물론 시프라와의 연관성도 전혀 발견되지 않았죠. 그리고 1년 뒤 1995년에 끔찍한 일이 벌어집니다.
We are begging for you to help us return him home safely and unharmed.
Noah Lafone was abducted while walking home from school on October 7th, 1995. He was 12 years old. There were no witnesses. There was a pretty extensive search and media effort this time to try to find him. We were doing door-to-doors. This was the first case I was on involving a child, so I really threw myself into it. 3 months later, in January, his body is discovered in a shallow creek near Silverwood Lake. He had been weighed down by concrete bricks, and his body was in pretty bad shape. There were multiple lacerations to his abdomen, and his liver had been removed. We also found a box cutter, the weapon, as well as Noah's school backpack and all its contents. This is where we got our second lead. There was a page that had been written on and then torn out, but you could still see an imprint. Caliban. What the heck was Caliban?
About 2 weeks after his body was discovered, the Riverside Police Department received a letter in the mail. Provided details of the 3 killings. It was unreleased information only the police would know, which basically proves whoever wrote it was the killer, or at least someone who had direct contact with the killer. And there was a message.
Thanks for not catching me. Learned a lot. 10 transits remain. Isn't it insane? I'll be back.
그 메시지를 끝으로 범인은 종적을 감췄고 사건은 그렇게 미제로 남는 듯했으나 인트로에서 보았듯이 2010년 그가 다시 돌아온 것이었죠.
But as soon as I saw that symbol on the ceiling, I realized that was the killer from 95. He wasn't bluffing in his letter. He hadn't stopped. He had just taken a 15-year break. Why?
95년도보다 훨씬 더 영리해진 살인범.
The suspect gained entry through a first-floor bathroom window, cut through a screen on the side of the house, then attacks Ted and Tiffany sometime after 1:15 a.m. There was bruising on Ted's face, struck by a blunt object. We think the suspect probably roughed him up as a form of intimidation and convinced him and Tiffany to go downstairs willingly. Suspect zip ties their hands and feet, wraps duct tape around their mouths.
그 수법도 소름 끼쳤는데
He ties the 3 of them to chairs around the dining room, deliberately facing each other, you understand? He places their feet in these 5-gallon painter's buckets. He prepared these things ahead of time. Like they had their names on them, literally. Like Ted, Tiffany, Samantha, written out. He draws 3 lines on each of them, like the kind you'd find on a measuring cup. It's for their blood. By volume. Going.
특이점이라면
Gone.
용의자는 피해자들 몸에 6cm의 작은 절개를 가했다는 거였죠.
And the result was fatal blood loss. There's about 1.5 gallons of blood in the human body. It takes maybe 15 minutes for that to drain out, but you can be dead in as soon as 3. The femoral artery is at your groin, basically, at the top of your thigh. If you're sitting upright, gravity just kind of does its thing. The technical term for this is exsanguination.
이 사건이 어떠한 의식과 관련이 있다고 추측하게 만든 건 그의 모든 작업을 사후에 했다는 것이었습니다.
So, normal homicide, you stab a person, shoot a person, you get the heck out of there. You don't stick around. Every second you wait is another second to get caught. From what we can put together, our suspect hung around another 2 hours at least. He leaves the house, comes back with a 24-foot extension ladder that he gets from his vehicle, and then he goes to work painting this thing on the ceiling. And it's not a small room, and he goes almost wall to wall. It's almost 20 feet, and he does a good job. He's careful, does a couple of layers, almost no drips on the floor, and he positions the bodies. And all this he does without any neighbors hearing a sound or seeing a thing. No fingerprints, no DNA left at the scene, no motive, no relation to the victims.
그로부터 사흘 뒤 경찰서엔 또 한 통의 편지가 도착합니다.
Blue panties are having fun chasing my tail because the harvest has just begun and reaping so much fun.
그 편지가 도착하고 며칠 뒤 페리스힐 공원에서 거머리가 가득 든 병과 한 여자의 머리가 발견되는데
On the night of November 8th, the suspect entered the home of the two victims, Tamara Latour and her boyfriend Glenn Sandweiss, through a dog door in the back of the house. According to Mr. Sandweiss, he attacks Tamara first, uses a stun gun to incapacitate her. There's a brief struggle before Sandweiss is overpowered by the suspect, brought to the floor. That's when the attack with the propane torch begins. He literally burns this guy's face off.
Is there anything else you can remember that would help us catch who did this? Something about how fast?
Feels like my face is on fire all the time. I'm already dead, man. I'm just not in the ground like Tamara is. Fuck. You got what you need. I'm fucking done.
이번에도 역시 지문도 DNA도 아무런 단서도 찾지 못한 답답한 상황.
Until we got lucky.
그런데 살인 당일 아침 흰 색깔에 빨간 글씨가 적힌 트럭을 몰고 온 남성이 여러 개의 쓰레기 봉투를 컨테이너에 버리는 모습을 목격했다는 한 여성의 증언.
The owner of the white truck, Victor Chamaz, was a 45-year-old man living in Riverside who had a small house painting business. He had a rap sheet. It was relatively clean. A few minor narcotic citations, a B&E from a decade earlier. We called him in for questioning and he agreed. Mr. Chamaz.
하지만 샤마즈 역시 이번 사건의 피해자.
I have not killed anybody. Okay? Guys, act as quick and go. And somebody come and pulled me out of my truck and beat the shit out of me. Okay? Like I thought I was a fucking dead man. And then he just takes my truck and that's it. I swear to God, it wasn't me. Okay, slow down.
It became evident Chamaz wasn't our guy. I mean, he was a scumbag, but he wasn't our scumbag, and he didn't really know anything. Although he did give us one new piece of information.
He was wearing like a mask, you know? Like a freaky ass mask.
경찰의 추적을 피하기 위해 마스크를 쓰기 시작한 범인. 그로부터 몇 달 뒤 노스 리버사이드 수영센터에서 또다시 살인 사건이 발생합니다.
This was a bad one.
어느 10대 무리들에 의해 발견된 끔찍한 살해 현장.
When you first saw the body, it looked like it was covered in mud or slime or something, because it was so shiny.
그리고 공식 발표된 시신의 사인.
Fatal loss of blood by leeches.
피해자는 43세 중국계 데니스 자오라는 남자. 실종 신고가 들어온 건 4일 전이었지만 사망 시각은 발견되기 하루 전.
The suspect had been breeding them, right? This particular type of leech takes about 3 weeks for the eggs to form and hatch, then another 2 weeks to reach maturity. So he'd been preparing this thing for over a month, coming here day after day, checking in on his babies, feeding them, keeping the water clean, checking the pH. Then he abducts Dennis Zhao and he brings him here, strips him naked, puts him in the water, creates this barrier around the deep end and all along the edges so he can't get out no matter how hard he tries. Then he begins releasing these things into the pool.
The species found in the pool with Mr. Zhao is called H. stagnalis. In the case of H. stagnalis, it has this sucker on the front of its body that it uses to attach to the host. They have 3 small jaws that create a Y-shaped incision. That's how they get the tasty pay dirt. Leeches will consume up to 10 times their own body weight in blood, which sounds like a lot, but it's like 2 teaspoons.
This bloodletting by leeches process went on for nearly 3 straight days. The suspect just methodically keeps fishing out full leeches, adding more empties, on and on, as Dennis Zhao becomes more and more incapacitated.
I've always been lousy at math, but basically took a shitload of leeches to kill Dennis Zhao. Oh, and the reason no one ever hears screaming from the building? Zhao's tongue was cut out.
A leech bite looks a little like the symbol, doesn't it? See how it's sort of a triangle? But like most clues, this just led to more questions. What do these dots mean?
조사 결과 범인은 불건전 만남 광고를 통해 자오를 유인했고 경찰은 IP 추적을 통해 두 사람이 접촉한 카페를 알아냅니다.
There were 3 employees working that day. None of them could remember the suspect. It's a popular place, so he may have picked it for that reason. No surveillance system, no cameras anywhere at all.
그러던 중 범인으로 의심되는 자를 목격했다는 한 노숙자의 증언을 듣게 되죠.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Mind if I talk to you for a sec? That's, you're talking about the one near Andolka Park?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm just sitting there, right? And he comes up to me and I know what he wanted, and I want to hire you as day labor.
Did he say what kind of labor?
Landscaping, working on a house or something.
And you get in his car?
Yep.
What kind of car?
Like a sedan or something, like a blue Camry.
If he was telling the truth, this was huge. We even had a vehicle description, but it gets even better. Mr. Johnson tells us he knows where the suspect's house is. Apparently the suspect had driven him to it.
He didn't know the street address, but he says he thinks he can remember how to get there by memory. Apparently, he'd been driven to a residence in Highgrove. Well, the suspect says he needs to grab some tools before they went to the so-called job site.
And that's what brought us to 144 Artesian Avenue.
Mr. Johnson said the guy seems normal, friendly, even conversational.
And that brings us to the bracelet. Johnson says he found this bracelet in a trash container a few years ago. Says he just likes to wear it. Thinks it's cool. Apparently the suspect asks him about it, starts grilling him. How long you been a diabetic? Do you take insulin, etc.? Johnson tells him the bracelet's not his. And then the suspect gets very visibly angry. Pulls off the highway, tells him to get out, drives off, and that's that. Johnson never sees him again. He's incredibly lucky. I believe if that bracelet had been real, if Johnson had fit whatever criteria our suspect was looking for, he would most definitely be dead right now.
노숙자가 알려준 집에 문을 두드려봤지만 아무도 없는 집. 대신 현관문 위에 범인의 집이라는 확실한 증거가 있었는데 바로 범인의 시그니처 문양.
We called in the cavalry.
예상대로 범인은 집안에 없었습니다. 텅 빈 집안은 이상한 물건도 몇 가지만 놓여있을 뿐이었죠. 이 집을 범인에게 임대해준 집주인은 샌디에이고에 사는 노부인 엘버트 샤이니.
Apparently, Mr. Shiny was willing to pay for a year up front in cash, so she didn't ask too many questions and had only met him twice. So we start dusting for fingerprints. And we can't find any, literally, not one print, which makes no sense for the inside of someone's house. There should be thousands of them. Was this guy wearing gloves every second of every day?
Finally, we found some fingerprints on a telescope that was outside on the deck. Immediately got them out to the lab, run through the computer, and boom, we got a hit. The print matched the partial that was found in '95 from the Noah Lafone murder. I couldn't believe it. We might have our guy.
그리고 드디어 밝혀진 지문의 주인, 1962년생 레슬리 사이크스. 노숙자와 집주인 모두 사진을 보곤 그가 맞다고 증언한 상황.
Sykes had no criminal record, no employment history, no current address, no phone number or bank account, and big surprise, the guy hadn't paid taxes in more than 2 decades. Yeah, he really was a ghost, but he was our ghost, and we had to find him before he killed again.
즉시 언론을 통해 캘리포니아 전역으로 사이크스의 정체를 수소문했지만 애석하게도 그를 아는 사람은 단 한 명도 나타나지 않았죠. 다만 그 뉴스에 민감하게 반응을 보인 유일한 사람이 있었으니 바로 사이크스 본인.
Leslie Sykes has been transfigured. You can't stop him or what he has become. Hail Azrator. Hail Ragdoll. You have no idea what I'm saying. 5 to go and then you'll know.
5 to go and then we'll know what? It was a sick game to him. But it was also absolutely serious. Or would he really stop at 5?
다음 살인은 한 달이 채 안 돼 벌어졌습니다. 피해자의 나이는 고작
16.
그리고 소녀의 죽음은 고스란히 카메라에 담겼죠.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in for like kind of a smoky look with this one right here. And so we'll start. Hey, I thought you were gonna text me on the way home. I'm starving. Mom? Mom? Dad?
The video glitch is pretty bad there, and it's hard to tell what's going on. We've combed over it frame by frame, but it's just too messed up to see anything clearly. But obviously, Sykes was performing some kind of ritual.
이것만으로도 충분히 충격적이었지만 더 큰 충격은 그 다음이었습니다. 빅토리아가 아직 살아있던 거였죠.
Somehow, Victoria survives being shot, not only in the head, but in the back twice and the shoulder.
즉시 응급실로 이송됐지만 비극은 여기서 끝나지 않았습니다. 안타깝게도
Sykes attacks and subdues a nurse just getting off his shift in the hospital parking lot. Takes his uniform and entry badge. He walks straight through the front doors, right past security, and goes to McEnroe's floor. I mean, he seems to know exactly where to go. He walks by police and security several times and is never noticed. Yeah, including by Joe or May.
He was right there. We practically touched each other. If I had just been paying attention, if I had just looked into his eyes.
He waits until there's a shift change, enters the room for stored pharmaceuticals, and proceeds to poison an AB-negative blood transfusion bag with an industrial cleaner he finds in a custodial closet. He knows that McEnroe is the only one with AB-negative in the wing, and is the only one who will receive that bag. Then he leaves. Victoria was dead within minutes, but Sykes was long gone by then. This was a huge blow to everyone involved in the case. The one victim that survived, we couldn't protect her. Yeah, that was one of the roughest nights in my entire life.
그렇게 사익스는 생존한 빅토리아를 살해하며
Can we take a break?
그의 9번째 살인을 완성시켰습니다.
Some days I feel like she's still here.
이후 경찰은 사익스의 과거를 샅샅이 조사한 끝에 학창시절 그와 유일하게 가까이 지냈던 고등학교 동창 한 명과 연락이 닿게 되는데
A guy named Jared Kelly.
He was what? Shy, quiet?
Leslie's only real hobby, if you could call it that, was hiking. Some rock climbing. He'd go out to Joshua Tree sometimes on the weekends. We were doing gate installation, and he's like fucking all wound up, acting weird as shit.
How so?
Just like agitated, distracted. Later on, he told me he'd had some sort of religious experience in a cave that he found out there.
A cave?
He saw these red lights, and that he smelled food cooking, like barbecue, and that he went inside, and something appeared.
Like what?
I don't fucking know. Like a vision. The shit that he was saying, it was so out there that it fucking stuck with me. It's like ingrained. Shambler from the stars. The thorn of time, which is metal as fuck.
하지만 곧 완벽해 보였던 그도 어쩔 수 없는 사람이었다는 게 밝혀집니다. 해리스 부부의 집에 침입하다가 부부가 키우던 22kg짜리 핏불에게 밀려 부상을 입은 사실이 확인된 것이었죠. 그러고 며칠 뒤 24시간 도넛 가게에서 일하는 31세 레오 디치란 남자의 살해 소식이 전해졌는데
Leo Dietz is found the next morning with his heart removed from his body. A security guard sees Sykes exit the back of the shop and tries to confront him, but Sykes flees.
Honestly, I was just doing my job. I was wrapping up my rounds for the evening here in this complex. I saw a man leaving the shop in a very, very weird mask.
The guard still manages to grab his license plate number and report it to the police.
Just bummed I didn't get the reward money.
핏불에게 당했던 공격이 회복되지 않았던 건지 잡힐 뻔하다가 결국 차를 유기하고 도망쳐버린 사이크스.
The more desperate Sykes became, the more likely he was to make a mistake. That was the hope.
We'd kind of hit a brick wall digging into Sykes' past. He just vanished into thin air after 91. That's when we realized it's because he wasn't in the country. Turns out Sykes had used his late ex-wife's credit card to purchase a one-way ticket to, of all places, Jerusalem. I know. What the F, right? I mean, we were just baffled.
그는 노아 라폰 살인 직후 예루살렘, 이집트, 시리아, 이탈리아를 거쳐 독일로 향했었고 그곳에서 역사학자 요나스에게 접촉해 현존하는 사본이 6권 남짓밖에 없는 발릴의 성전 책 구입을 시도했습니다. 그 책의 정체는
It's a book of spells, basically, witchcraft.
And he bought it off you?
Well, wanted to buy it off me, but I wasn't selling. I don't know if he was for real or not, but he offered some wild prices, 150,000 euro. The guy kind of creeped me out, to be honest. So, when my shop was vandalized a couple of days later and the book was gone, I immediately knew who did it. The thing that gets me more than anything else, though, is what the hell happened to that book.
그리고 얼마 후 한 남자가 참혹한 형태로 공원 놀이터 그네에 매달린 채 발견됩니다.
This is fucking crazy.
The victim was Siraj Malik, the security guard that saw Sykes behind the donut shop and reported his plate to police.
Displayed is the word. It was a form of torture the ancient Vikings used to use called blood eagle. The flesh of the back is cut open, the ribs are bent back, then both lungs are pulled out. And the mutilation resembles, yeah, you guessed it, wings. Blood eagle. It was clearly done for dramatic effect.
He wanted us to know he was punishing this guy for trying to stop him. He was saying, stay out of his way or else. He was saying, this is your fault, not mine.
확실히 그 경고 이후 사이크스에 관한 제보는 줄어들기 시작했죠. 이후 경찰은 사이크스의 집 뒷마당까지 팔 정도로 샅샅이 뒤졌지만 역시나 아무런 단서도 나오지 않았고
So it's like 2 in the morning and I'm just, zoning out, looking up at the stars.
그렇게 체념하려던 찰나
And then I remember that telescope that we pulled Sykes' prints from. What stars was Leslie Sykes looking at?
그가 망원경으로 뱀 주인 자리를 관찰하고 있었다는 특이점을 발견하게 됐는데
reason I mention Ophiuchus is because a rare celestial event was taking place in its constellation of Borders that exact month. A planetary alignment where Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn come in earshot of each other in a way that happens once every 800 years or so. But only for a few hours, which is why it's so special.
이는 그가 그동안 저질러온 살인사건들과 깊은 연관성이 있었죠.
A rare planetary alignment that was only a few weeks away. So is this all one big coincidence?
결정적으로 우연히 뜯게 된 벽 안쪽에서 잠금 상자 하나가 발견됩니다.
And inside, just two things. Leslie Sykes' passport expired from 2003, and a key with an attached keychain.
곧장 그의 개인 창고로 향한 경찰들. 그리고 그 안에서 결정적인 단서들을 찾아낼 수 있었죠.
Here's why we never get fingerprints. The guy wears a full-on hazmat suit. This is the mold, we believe, for the mask that he's been seen in. Yeah, this guy's big into space over here. Real big.
Your heart out.
This right here, we think is Dennis Zhao's tongue, right? Unless he's cut out other tongues. This hair is Victoria McEnroe. We think it is because it's. We watched her hair get cut off, and that is Suraj Malik.
He's been here recently.
Yeah. Over here is what we think is Sheridan's blood.
Got this shit up here. Hail Asragor. And then this weird altar. Whereas before we had little to no evidence to go on, we now had way too much. Sykes had collected tons of information on each of his victims, had them all in a filing cabinet. Criminal history, medical records, information the public does not have access to, so he must have been paying off cops or private investigators. And every murder had been meticulously documented. There were photos, drawings, hundreds of handwritten pages by Sykes with his ramblings. A pure window into a man's madness.
그로부터 며칠 뒤 글렌과 스테파니 부부의 생후 3개월 된 아기 소여를 납치한 사이크스. 하지만 그는 아기를 죽이지 않았습니다. 마치 무언가를 기다린 듯했죠.
But what?
We had no idea where Sykes was going or what his plan was, but it didn't seem like a coincidence that the triangle in the sky was supposed to appear that morning. That was a Friday, by the way. The 13th. Coincidence, right?
다음 날 1993년 첫 살인이 벌어진 바로 그 현장에서 버려진 채 발견된 사이크스의 차량.
This three-planet alignment was going to be visible between 6 and 6:30 a.m. I mean, that gave us just a matter of hours to find Sykes and baby Sawyer. One way or another, this thing was going to end.
운명의 13일 새벽, 사이크스를 찾기 위해 숲으로 향하는 경찰들.
We had units coming in from Arrowhead, Crestline, even Big Bear, but they were spread out all over the place. If Sykes was on foot, he could only get so far, but we still needed a lot of manpower. Best we could do in that first hour was 2 cars. 2. That park is almost 1 million acres.
They started going from campsite to campsite in a grid. Every tent, RV, porta potty out there, they were shining a light into it.
Who's in there with you?
Nobody was being cooperative or wanted to talk to us, but we knew it would be. Imagine you're asleep in your tent and a cop shines a light in your face. Like, I'd be pissed too.
수색이 한창이던 중 사이크스와 관련된 듯한 긴급 구조 연락이 오게 되고
There's a property out there where you can rent these individual cabins for the night. Sykes forces his way inside one of these cabins where Martin and Sylvia Vallejo are staying. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. He's able to subdue Martin, but Sylvia gets away and calls 911 at the cabin next door.
지원이 늦어진 탓에 소수의 인원만이 오두막으로 향하게 되는데
It's clear.
The place was deserted, right? Extremely bad vibes. I think that's when I started to get scared. Then we found Mr. Vallejo.
We got a suspect. We got a suspect! Let me see your hands!
Hands! Hands!
Moving up. He looks like he's duct taped his hands.
Oh, that's true. I got him.
Mask.
God. He's injured. Get medical out here.
Sykes essentially lobotomizes the man. Leaves the body to be found like that. An empty glass is found on the kitchen counter with remnants of milk from the fridge and Sawyer's dirty diapers thrown in the garbage. Even then, he was still taking care of the baby. After this pit stop, he leaves into the woods.
그렇게 간발의 차로 사이크스를 놓쳐버린 경찰들. 그때 인근에서 아기 울음소리가 들려옵니다.
We should go check it out.
이들은 지원을 기다리는 것 대신 즉시 현장으로 뛰어드는 판단을 내렸죠. 그리고 그 판단은 이들을 끔찍한 지옥으로 이끌었으니
You hear that? He was doing witchcraft out there, man. Yo, what the fuck is this, man?
심각한 부상을 입고 사이크스에게 생포당한 카터 경관. 하지만 사이크스는 카터를 죽이지 않은 채 자신이 하던 일을 마무리 짓기 시작했고 그 광경은 고스란히 카터의 바디캠에 담겼습니다.
I didn't understand at the time what exactly that wood thing was, but you know, I found out they have a name for it, a pyre. That's where the crying was coming from.
Thanks. Oh, shit. What the fuck?
I don't know what we saw or didn't see. It was strange. If you looked at it from one angle, you could see it. From another, it wasn't as clear. The videos don't do it justice at all.
I mean, sky looked weird that morning, no doubt about that, but there's plenty of weird stuff that happens in the sky. Aurora Borealis?
That looks totally different.
Okay, but you can't tell me that's not some weird-looking space stuff too, right?
I don't remember much. It gets hazy, so that thing in the sky, it looked like red eyes.
그 순간 때맞춰 도착한 조셉 덕분에 사이크스를 제압하고 아기도 구할 수 있었죠.
And just like that, it was over. We got him.
How's the baby?
It's okay.
그런데
It's too goddamn close.
잠깐 한눈을 판 사이
He's gone.
사이크스가 사라져버렸습니다.
Help over here.
Got to be fucking kidding me.
하지만 천만다행으로 인근에서
Leslie Sykes' body was found about 100 yards from the cabin in a creek.
시신으로 발견된 사이크스.
Covered in leeches. He'd only been in the water for a matter of minutes. It's like they were drawn to him. It made any kind of visual identification impossible, but we still confirmed it with fingerprint and DNA.
No phantoms, no ghost, a flesh and blood human. Piece of shit human, but human nonetheless.
경찰이 사이크스의 사망을 공식 발표하며 사건은 종결됐지만 그가 피해자들에게 남긴 상처와 사건의 잔상들은 여전히 현재 진행 중이었죠.
Richie, I don't want to talk about it. Should have been me.
I couldn't believe it. Like all of this like weight was just lifted from my chest, you know? Like Schifra could finally rest in peace, you know? Because that fucking asshole was dead.
You got off too easy if you ask me. Should have drawn and quartered that motherfucker. Sorry, was that too much or?
No, that's actually perfect.
Happy I could set the record straight.
When we first found out that they killed him, I guess it was bittersweet.
I was just glad he couldn't hurt anybody else.
We try to keep Victoria's memory alive, but it gets harder as time goes on. Friends lose interest.
We moved to Portland. I know it sounds superstitious, but it just seemed like that whole county was cursed.
What do you think Leslie Sykes was up to?
I have no idea.
Must have theories. Come on, people are gonna want to hear this.
What do you want me to say? He was part of some apocalypse cult, trying to summon a 6 million year old leech god? Thorn of Time, Caliban? That's not something you put in a police report, pal. That's not gonna help the families try and bring closure and heal from this mess. What I can say for sure is this. Leslie Sykes was a monster. We caught him, and we killed him.
그런데 흥미로운 건
Post-dated 2 days before he died. If he sent it, he must have had an inkling things might not go to plan.
사이크스가 죽기 전 이들 앞으로 마지막 편지를 남겼다는 것이었습니다.
Rejoice, for I can now learn the mysteries of the worm. The harvest season will return. The reaping will continue. I'll be back.
파운드 푸티지, 모큐멘터리를 바탕으로 제작된 공포영화는 많지만 스트레인지 하비스트는 바로 그 포맷을 가장 영리하게 활용한 작품입니다. 페이크 다큐멘터리 형식으로 1993년부터 2010년까지 캘리포니아를 공포에 떨게 한 연쇄살인마 미스터 사이니를 쫓는 두 형사의 이야기를 마치 실제 수사 다큐처럼 풀어냈는데요. 인터뷰, 경찰 바디캠, CCTV 영상까지 가짜인 걸 뻔히 알면서도 보다 보면 진짜 사건인지 착각할 정도로 설득력 있게 연출했습니다. 가장 큰 강점은 바로 그 사실감입니다. 이런 일이 실제로 일어날 수 있다는 공포감을 끝까지 유지하죠. 범죄 현장 연출도 충격적일 만큼 완성도가 높고 두 형사 캐릭터도 자연스러웠습니다. 후반부로 갈수록 초자연적인 요소가 끼어들면서 긴장감이 다소 흐트러진다는 아쉬움도 있었지만 트루 크라임 다큐와 공포 영화의 경계를 흥미롭게 넘나드는 작품임은 분명했습니다. 이상 헬모비였습니다. 감사합니다.